Hi, and welcome back to Marketing Storytime with Momo. You guessed it, I am Momo. So, welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome. Grab a cup of coffee. Let's have this, short discussion. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much. But I hope you are subscribed. Subscribe below. And if you're new here, please do well and subscribe. So, I bring out weekly videos, and I always like to share comments, banter, whatever it is, we can talk in the comment section. And I'll explain why to you. Today, I posted this article on my LinkedIn page, what I'm about to talk about. And one of my viewers sent me a message and said, "Can you share more insight on this?" And I said, "Sure." Now, that's about commenting. If she did not comment or if she did not engage me in conversation, I wouldn't do that. She said it would bring more clarity for her as a business owner. So here we are. I'm about to do the Lord's work. So welcome. So what am I talking about today? The article, by the way, on my LinkedIn page will be in the description box, so you can click on it to go read the article. So welcome. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that a lot of people do not, it's out there, but they don't understand it. It's about simplicity. I don't know why we overcomplicate matters. We shouldn't overcomplicate matters. Matters should not be complicated. I don't like complicated matters. And I'll give you a reason. I'll give you an example. When I joined a professional services firm, they used to put out proposals, and some of the proposals were like this big, 200-page, 300-page documents. And I used to tell them, like, there is no way that anyone is scanning through a 200 or 300-page document. Is there a way we can compact it to 20 pages? And they used to look at me like, how can we compress 200 pages into 20 pages? But we eventually did. So we started releasing proposals that were 20 pages. And we got so many feedback from our clients or potential clients that said, wow, this is so much nicer and easier to read. And I told my team, I said, let's not overcomplicate matters. I remember when I was in secondary school, this topic always it's taking me back to this when I was in secondary school. And you write a letter back then. And when you write the letter, you say, oh, how are you doing? I hope this letter finds you well. If so, doxology. And I didn't know what it meant then. I don't know. I just knew it was what everyone wrote. So I wrote it. It was as I got older that I went to check the meaning of doxology and understood what doxology was. So what am I trying to say is, let's not overcomplicate matters. And I'm sure the people I was even writing to did not understand what doxology was. They too were just going along with it, that's the cool thing. That's what everyone was doing. And that takes me to this topic of simplicity. How can you be writing doxology when the person you're communicating with does not understand what doxology means? Like I always tell my team, marketing should be so simple that everybody understands it, right? I always tell them, let's break it down like we're talking to a 4-year-old, like a toddler. It reminds me of my nephew. When I'm talking to him, sometimes his mom would say, big grammar, break it down, break it down, break it down. And that's what I always tell my team. Let us break things down, make it simple, keep it simple, and let me put smart. KISS, that acronym, you all know what that stands for. So let's not overcomplicate matters. There's no way you are writing a 200-page document that your client is going through 200 pages, right? I always go for simplicity. I think when we go for simplicity, it creates clarity. It brings better clarity to the matter. Not simple things, because simple doesn't create depth. But if it's simplicity, it creates some level of precision and it creates value. So let's not overcomplicate matters. I'll give you an example. I went to buy a new door a few months ago, and when I got there, the first salesperson I bumped into was like, oh, is your door 3 meters by 10 by this by that, and he went on and on. I just stood there and I was staring at him like, I don't understand what you're saying. And he was so engrossed in what he was saying. I think in his mind he felt he was being very, knowledgeable. And so when he finished, I said, oh, thank you, I'll be in touch. And I was about to walk away. And I think maybe the manager noticed and came to me and said, Madam, I'm sorry. Let me show you sample doors. these are the door sizes, this is what size of house do you have. And he broke it down to me in a way that it made it very, very, very easy for me to understand. And we picked the door right there and there. What was the difference? Simplicity versus complexity. Things should not be complex, right? We should try and, I always tell my team, break things down like you're talking to a toddler. So let's break it down. Let's not make marketing complicated. When we complicate things, we chase clients away. We drive them far, 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 far away from us. However, when we break it down and they understand, even if they are not 100% sure, they will come back with questions. And that line of engagement is always there. That's what you always want. You want that open line of communication. Because one thing is, once your client goes quiet, that's what you don't want. However, if the client comes back with questions, then at least you know you're doing something okay. So let's not overcomplicate matters. Let's not use big grammar like I used to use when I was in secondary school. Let's also understand that, clarity makes things very simple, you know, and it helps with, with making decisions. So some companies, I'll give examples that have made things very simple. I'll always use Nike. Nike has said, just do it. And that slogan alone, as simple as it sounds, just do it. You might think that thing has made them sell so many billions and billions of products all over the world. Because when you hear it, just do it, it's just do it. Buy your shoe and just do it. Just do what you need to do. Get your sports equipment and just do it. So that slogan has actually helped Nike. What am I trying to say? That's simplicity. They didn't say, oh, if you buy this, it will elevate and it will downgrade, and they didn't do that. They just said, just do it. And when you hear that, you can relate with it and say, okay, let me just do it. Let me make that decision, just do it. And so that's what Nike has done. Apple is another company that makes their products very simple. They don't overcomplicate their products. You buy an Apple phone, it's easy to use, very straightforward. Simplicity is top notch, right? So that's Apple, that's Nike. In Nigeria, I'll talk about Paystack. They talk about ease of doing digital payments. They've made it so simple that if you want to do digital payments, it's your first go-to is Paystack. So I think I think their slogan, and I'm not 100% sure, is ease of payment across Africa or something, and it just brings top of mind awareness to you. So it's very important when you're doing marketing to know that simplicity goes a long way than overcomplicating matters. So I hope with this few points of mine, I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you that let's keep things simple. KISS, keep it simple and smart. That's my own slogan. I'm not going to use the other one they say outside. Keep it simple and smart. Let's do marketing like we're talking to toddlers, because it helps to break things down. It makes you break things down level by level. And also, it helps your clients understand their product or the service you're offering. Please do not do a 200-page document thinking that will make you look very important or make you look very serious. No. And also, let's remember that you don't want situations where your client is confused. Because once there's confusion, they will go to the next product that's not confusing them. You always want to be TOMA, top of mind awareness. You always want them to feel like, okay, I can always come back to this product. At least they're explaining it well to me. So please keep it simple and smart. Don't overcomplicate matters. Let's have clarity. Know that simplicity brings a lot of clarity. It brings precision. It makes your clients come back for more. But don't make it simple. There's a difference. When you make things too simple, there's no depth. You always want depth in what you're doing. So in as much as we're breaking it down for a toddler, let us also still have depth in it. Let us understand, like door salesman that came to me, he kept it very simple. However, it wasn't simple that I didn't, that I just thought, okay, what is this man saying? No, I understood it, I related with it. And like I always say, it gave room for open discussion. And that's what you always want your client to do, to come back for open discussion. What you don't want is for your client to keep quiet and walk away. You always want that room for open conversation. Okay? So, that being said, if you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below. Kindly subscribe to my channel and also share. And I'll see you in the next episode. From me to you, keep safe and keep well. All right. Thank you. And don't forget, share, share, share. Okay? And comment if you have any comments. And then see my article for my LinkedIn page in the description box below. All right, guys. Take care. God bless. Bye.